Hey everyone, this is Keith Scott from out in Sydney, Australia. I'm one of the voices of Bullwinkle J. Moose. It's time to watch Relentless and Unstoppable. And so give it up for your main hosts, Douglas Kenny and Andy McPhee.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny and welcome to Relentless and Unstoppable. We have another amazing guest coming on the channel today, so please hit like and subscribe. And after this episode, please stay tuned to the RNU channel for more amazing guests. Let's get this on!
Hey everybody, how you doing? Just a quick little share of why I started Relentless and Unstoppable. It was for one very simple reason, because of Doug Kenny. Nothing to do with me at all, zero. I was just coaching Doug, and he took on the coaching and mentoring, and he made all the changes. He took all the suggestions from his parents as well as my coaching, but it was all about Doug, his breakthrough and his weight loss, his willingness to accept that he is dealing with high functioning autism and other issues, but he's never quit, he's never given up. So we did one interview with him to share his story, and then we decided to start interviewing other people, and Doug has now taken over the whole channel, and he does all the interviews, he runs everything. He's just an amazing young man. So RNU was born from simply what an amazing young man Doug is, and his story needed to be shared.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny from Relentless and Unstoppable, and today we have Wesley with us. Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Tell our followers a bit of how we met.
Yeah, so I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and had never really been an auto sports fan. Somebody gave me tickets to the Nashville Indy race, so I went for free, never knew anything about it. And while I was there, one of the coolest things that happened to me was running into you. I saw you with your shirt on with the logo, and I thought to myself, that looks like something that has to do with mental health. And I'm a psychiatric and mental health nurse practitioner, and I asked you about it, and we struck up a great conversation and made a fortunate connection for me. I'm grateful to have the connection with you and see what kind of exciting work that you're doing, and it's neat.
Definitely. It was a pleasure to meet you, and I think it was during the Trans Am 2 race, wasn't it?
I think you're right. Yep, that's right. And man, was it loud.
It was very loud, and I thought it was awesome because the drivers were very respectful of each other. Like, they gave each other room no matter what position you were in, and the winner was Mike Skeen, I believe.
I think you're right. That's
and
right.
He's always been known for being clean.
Good. Did you get a t-shirt that day?
I did. I got a Trans Am shirt, and I think you saw this on social media afterwards, but right after the race ended, me and my friend that was with me at the time, remember, she was recording me in the race and all that. Mm-hmm. She and I went to have our lunch at one of the Subway, where the only available option was a ham sandwich. But yeah, we went to Subway to eat, and 45 minutes after the race ended with Mike Skeen winning, I encountered Scott Burchetta.
Wow.
You know, that Trans Am driver that was in the race, and he's also the man behind Taylor Swift's career.
I'd heard, yeah. And I think, didn't he also have one of the big sponsorships for one of those fancy drinks, I think? But I could be wrong.
Spiked coolers, yeah.
That's the one, yeah. Good. And you got a fantastic memory.
And he took advantage of the COVID pandemic, which was still technically in place at the time, but just, with less restrictions. But He took advantage of it to create a brand of hand sanitizer, and
That's right.
On the track.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, Scott is a very good businessman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Taking advantage of what the world's up to and making new brands out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was
and I thought a positive one with the hand sanitizer. I mean, we all needed it. There wasn't enough going around. So
Scott told me in our interaction when I met him, he told me that driving those cars can be very hot inside.
Yeah, I've heard that. because they don't have air conditioners and it's the middle of August and they're, the engine just belches that heat right into the driver's area. Yeah, that makes sense that they'd be really hot. And then they have those outfits on, those
The
burnt,
fire
the
suit.
fire.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah, and I bet they're cooking in all that heat.
Trust me, when I posed for a picture with Scott, I felt his fire suit and it was soaked with sweat.
I bet. Yeah, they probably drink gallons of water throughout the day. They have to.
Yeah. And I admire what Scott's been doing with the spiked coolers and even with his big machine company. Like the stuff he did in that weekend and still does to this day is amazing. Unfortunately, he was injured, recently, so he was on pause for a bit. But he's still kicking butt.
Yeah, all the love to him. As he's climbing out of that hole.
Yeah, the last I heard from a connection of mine that's in the Trans Am series, he said that he was in a wheelchair for a bit the last time he saw him.
Wow. Yeah, I hadn't heard all the details of that, and all the love to him as he's trying to convalesce and to recover from that. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't you have your son or daughter with you at the race?
Great memory. I sure did. My son Colin. He came with me. We went back the following year. We were out of town for it this year. We really wanted to go. Funny story about that with Colin. He was, I guess, he was 15, about to turn 16. And we were wandering around earlier in the day. And we wandered into the pits, which are not really fenced off, as you probably remember. Mm-hmm. And we were talking to some folks. We saw this little kid in one of those big Trans Am cars drive up, and we thought, well, he's just moving the car. He's probably just somebody's son moving the car from one place to another in the pits, in the paddock. And so we go up and talk to him. He was 14 years old, and he was a driver competing in the race. Blew our minds. We couldn't believe it. We got a picture with him. It was great. So.
That's amazing. I wish I could have gone to the second one, but I had my bipolar issues and then this year I had to go through some treatment, which you've seen on my Facebook. And so next year I'm going to be moving into a group home, but it's I'm going to be in a group home for at least 1 to 2 years. And afterwards, I'm hoping to get back into racing. Like I would love to go to the 500, the Indy 500, and possibly even the Detroit Grand Prix or the Long Beach Grand Prix. I'm hoping to do races that I haven't attended yet.
That would be a lot of fun. That sure would.
It did. It was a lot of fun in Nashville. It was, I've said to this day that was the greatest vacation I ever took, was seeing all those races.
Really? Well, that's fantastic. I was blown away myself at, I never really had been exposed to racing before. And on TV, it's cool. But then when you see it in real life, it is unbelievable. And we were blown away at how much of a good time it was.
I was blown away too. Like you see, in the years before, I may have mentioned this on Facebook, but in the years before, in the years before, I went to NASCAR races and was a devout fan, but I sort of walked away from NASCAR just because of some personal stuff that I was dealing with, along with the fact that it was going in several directions that I just didn't feel were the right things. And, and I started following other divisions of racing, but when I saw it in person at Nashville, I remember being like, I was blown away. I was like, why didn't I come to these type of races sooner?
Yep. So actually, I don't think you may have seen this on social media. We went to we took a vacation with the kids. We hadn't been on a vacation much since COVID. And last summer, not this summer, but past summer, we actually kind of did some Amalfi Coast stuff. And part of the one leg of our journey was spending a day in Monte Carlo. And so we got to see the F1 track, and there was no races going on at the time. But my son and I are pretty committed to, if we can, we would love to go see one of those races, F1 over there. It's amazing. the track, the road is so tiny. You don't really realize how narrow the chicanes are so tight. And, those F1 cars come singing through there. It's something to behold.
Yeah, I would love to go to Monaco, but that's really the only race I would commit myself to with F1. I don't normally follow F1 because it's gotten to the point where the only people that wins are whoever qualifies on the podium pretty much.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think it is a different sport than Indy. I like Indy. I like the Trans Am group, and then all of them. I never saw the truck one. We missed that. That I think was
Stadium
Thursday.
super
Maybe?
trucks.
Yeah, I'd like to see that too. We didn't get to see that, but that looks like that would be cool too.
Do you want to hear something funny from when I saw the Stadium super truck race?
Hit me.
A friend of mine, in the middle of practice sessions, not the race, but the practice sessions that the trucks had, I was texting a friend and kind of taking jabs at him, saying, "Hey, this is a nice vacation. I hope you're having a good time at work," just having some jabbing with your friend. And he said to me, "Oh, right, Doug, like you're not watching a whole field of," no, it wasn't that. Let me remember. I think what he said to me was, "Oh, yeah, Doug. And next you'll be telling me that you're standing in front of monster trucks." And he said it out of the blue without knowing where I was. And so the minute the Stadium super trucks came around, I had my friend who was with me, I had her record me smiling at the camera like, when the truck went past me, right when the truck went past me. And then I sent it to my friend and he just gave the emoji, and it was all coincidental. He literally did not know that I was watching a monster truck race, technically speaking.
I think that's hysterical. Yeah.
And then while I was when IndyCar practice was out and all that, there was a point during the weekend where I caught a glimpse of Mario Andretti. I wasn't.
No kidding.
Yeah, no kidding. I wasn't able to meet him because he was in the pits, but I saw him from the stadium, at the start finish line. And I just, that's the closest I've ever been to Mario, probably.
I would think so. I've never seen him. I've never put my eyes on him in real life. That's something to tell about right there for sure.
Yeah, I wish I could have met him, but he was focused on other things and he was in the pits. And as I recall, the pits weren't technically closed off for this. They weren't closed for the stadium races or the Trans Am ones, but for the IndyCar ones, I think they were closed off, probably because of the difference in speed or maybe just to protect the drivers. But it was a lot of fun seeing Andretti. And then a few minutes after practice ended, I was talking with my friend, got hit by a golf cart by accident, and it happened to be Roger Penske.
No kidding.
Did I tell you that one?
No, you didn't. I guess if you're going to get hit by a golf cart, it may as well be by somebody famous, right?
Yeah, that was on the first day, and I got a picture with Penske. At first, my thoughts were, okay, what idiot just ran into me, And then when I saw who it was, being a huge race fan, I knew who he was, and I just was like, holy cow, can I have a picture, man?
Yeah.
And I have a picture to this day. But when you
great.
grow up a racing fan, you can accept being run into by Penske like it's an honor.
There are worse things. I would agree.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's great.
It was a lot of fun. And, Roger, he really saved the IndyCar series, I would say, when he purchased the racing series and the track, because you may have heard, but the years before, IndyCar ratings were down and the open wheel split and all that. It was just, I think Penske's the man to run that kind of a show.
Yeah, he's definitely got the clout and the gravitas to stabilize an industry like that, I think, or a sport like that. So, yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So what do you do for mental health?
Gee, that's all we have for Relentless and Unstoppable. So tune into the next episode to hear more amazing stories from amazing guests. This is Keith Scott from Sydney, Australia saying so long, and I'm smarter than the average bear. Gee.